What is the worst thing that you've seen a coworker do and still avoid being fired? Accidentally send the last 3 years of account details/back statements from one company to their direct competitor. HR rep found out about a person's elective surgery and made fun of her with a former employee. Let me recap, this person knew about an employee's private medical information, because she worked with our healthcare plan in her role as HR, and shared that private information with another person for the sole purpose of mocking the employee. Worked with a guy who punctured the main gas line to our shop 3 separate times. It was a construction company, and he somehow was still my superintendent, although he could have blown up the shop. I know someone who managed to close an entire supermarket early for the first time in its history, costing the company several thousands of pounds, because they tried to set a clock on a computer back an hour to avoid missing some deadline for a daily routine. He said it seemed such a good idea at the time.
That's oddly impressive. How did setting the clock back lead to that?
Not the OP, but I assume their point of sale was a piece of shit from 2003, made up of the programming equivalent of gum and paper clips, that fell apart when the time from one part of the program didn't match the time from another part.
Guy at my wife's old job was brought in because he was really good at selling the services they provided. Proceeded to send dick pics to the women at work and solicit nudes from them. Women said to stop or they'd take it up with management and it subsided some. Solicited nudes from a new chick who asked my wife about it, and my wife went to management with everything and said this guy's out or I'm quitting. Well, she quit. Guy's still there but most the original female staff has quit. Had a coworker as a standard business practice falsely condemn furnaces in winter to pressure homeowners into buying new systems and pad his commission check. I couldn't do anything as I had no direct proof, but he would joke about it all the time. It did finally catch up with him when one customer smelled BS and called other companies with advanced testing machines. Took those results and sued the poop out of him. I ended up working for that second company and haven't looked back. We had an IT guy that was stealing old laptops after we replaced them for employees with new ones. Funny thing was that we didn't give him a raise for 5 years since we knew about it, and apparently he didn't want to quit either, out of fear of being discovered or due to the extra money he was making. His raise would have been worth more than the laptops, so we just let it continue. I work in a medical marijuana state. One guy neglected to check a dry room for a few days assuming all was well. All was not well, at all. The dehumidifier crapped out while the plants were being hung to dry, and sat in a warm dark room for 3 days before it was someone else's responsibility to check it. By that point every single plant was coated in mold and we had to throw out a little over $1 million worth of product. Side note, I had never done the math to see what he cost us until now, and am mad all over again. His only punishment was to be denied moving to day shift, but other than that it was forgotten about. Not giving patients their medication at the right time and generally not giving a fuck about them.
A friend once told me that whenever she worked nights with a certain staff member, the patients were always really quiet. This was unusual as it was an acute, specialist ward and could be mayhem. She then discovered that the staff member used to just give all the patients unprescribed sleeping tablets when they were on nights, to keep them quiet. This was years ago and I don't know what came of it, but fucking hell.
Drive around the yard on a forklift, no hands on the steering wheel, firing a nail gun at people and objects around the yard. Guy maxed out the company credit card at a casino. What's the worst thing that your coworker has done without being fired? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to Left on Reddit for all the latest videos.